Oh boy.
Oh yeah.
Look at that. That's a
Indeed.
window, folks.
That is a window that is stormy weather. Look out there, cloudy, it's rainy, it's kind of cold out there. I'm not a meteorologist. I would call this chilly weather.
I think that should be a technical term. Yes,
Yeah.
a big bowl of chili. That's exactly what this day needs. And here to show us a chef's twist on the classic that includes beer and chocolate, we welcome the owner of Coalition in Excelsior, Eli Wallenstein. Hi, Eli.
Hello, hello.
Nice to see you. Beer and chocolate and chili, and you've already got
Yeah.
the pot going, sir.
Yeah,
What's in
definitely.
here?
Well, I already got some garlic and some ground beef and some peppers and onions just kind of cooking. So I already browned off the beef and
Okay.
drained some of the fat, and then real easy. It's actually a pretty easy recipe, and you know, sometimes chili can take days,
Yeah.
right? And you can cook it. You can get some nice cuts of beef, some whole muscle beef, and cook it in a crock pot all day, right? And kind of slowly cook it down.
Right.
Or you can make it in like a half hour with ground beef, right? And so I've done a nice quicker version of chili.
So it's okay if you still want to make chili tonight. There's still
you can
time.
make
You don't
it,
have
yeah.
to turn on that
But I
slow
like
cooker
this.
early.
So what are some of those cuts that you might use if you're doing the long cooking time?
Well, you're usually going to want to use the type that you typically wouldn't grill, right?
Yeah.
So you're not going to use a New York strip or a tenderloin. So get some shoulder,
Okay.
or get some of the round,
Yeah.
right? Get some stew meat, and then yeah, you know, typically you'll see so many variations of chili out there, different beans and stuff, but beef is probably the best way to go. We know with chili, of
Classic.
course, right?
Solid.
Yes.
Love
Never
it.
fail with beef. Well, put us to work.
Okay,
What do you
yeah.
want
Well,
us
so
to do?
yeah, well, and then the other part. Now, chili, we forget as a Mexican dish. We always think of it as like as American as apple pie, right?
do.
But
Right.
chili con carne is what it's all based off of, which is just peppers with meat.
We are a
right?
nation
so I
of
do
immigrants.
Have,
Yes,
yeah,
we are.
So I do have some guajillo peppers. There's the dry ones. You've probably seen those in the store.
Okay, I have some of these at
Yes.
home. My mom put them in my stocking last
Yeah,
Christmas.
you can make some good sauces with them by toasting them, soaking them in water, and then blending them, or adding that water and the whole pepper right to your dish, like I'm going to do.
Cool.
So of course, well, chili, you got to have your spices, chili powder.
Okay.
Right. We've got some cumin.
And is the idea then with the dried guajillo peppers, is that to like add complexity to the chili powder or
and,
what?
and obviously it's going to add a little spiciness.
Okay.
And that's kind of where the chocolate comes in, is that it also adds just a little bitterness too, as well as the stout will add a little bitterness, and the chocolate, the sweetness will balance that out. Anytime you have some bitterness in a dish, you want to add a little sugar or a little honey or something sweet like
Okay.
chocolate. So
Now, what if
so,
somebody
yeah.
just put, you have chocolate here, you have a nice stout here. What
Yeah.
if someone just added those to whatever their current standby chili recipe is? Does that blow things up in a bad way?
No, not at all. That's kind of what I'm doing here. Is I've got a real basic chili recipe with ground beef, and then and I just added some tomato paste and the typical spices.
Good.
Now a little bit different is I'm adding the fresh peppers, you know, the dried peppers that we've toasted off. But no, you could add some beer to thin it out.
Now, what's going to happen with those peppers? I
We're
mean-
going to pull them out at the end. Yep.
Oh,
So
okay.
we're going to add some beer here.
Oh, so it's almost like a bay leaf kind of a seasoning deal.
Yeah, yeah, and the seeds are in there, so they'll get transferred back in. And there we go. It's good stuff. Excelsior, Excelsior
Yeah,
Brewery.
They make a good beer.
Make a great beer. Yeah, make a great beer.
What's this stuff?
So that's a little beef stock. So
Oh,
then
good.
we'll add our beans and tomatoes here.
Great.
Of course.
Boy,
and now
oh, this is...
another variation. You know, some people like it thick. I like it thick. Others like it a little bit more soupy.
And you know, some people are in, like Texas chili is known to have no beans. My mom is from Texas. She
Really?
puts beans in her chili all
There are no
the
rules
time.
when it comes to
I
chili,
kind
right?
of, I love beans in chili. I think it's
Yeah.
like a nice
Yeah.
balance of. I like
Absolutely.
the meat texture with the beans.
And there's so many different types of beans you can put in, kidney beans and pinto beans and black beans. So we would bring this all to a simmer and kind of get it nice and boiling.
Okay, this is interesting though, because take a look at this pot, you guys. Can you see in this pot? So look at how that looks when it's
Absolutely.
just fresh. And then when you
Yep.
scoot on over to the one that Eli has now, look, nice job. Look how much thicker, and that's
darker.
the cooking time. Yeah.
Yeah, and then also the chocolate. So once we're gonna, once we kind of
You
bring
haven't
this
put any
to a
chocolate
simmer.
in there yet,
No,
right?
once we bring it to a simmer, then we'll dump our chocolate in.
You ready?
Yeah, go ahead.
Do it.
And really, the chocolate can
Fun.
be. No, these are semi-sweet chips, so there is some sweetness to them. Unlike a mole, where they'd be more of a bittersweet chocolate,
Sure.
right? But these are balancing out the kind of the bitterness from the beer and the peppers. Now, you could definitely add more. You could add less, you know, but kind of get that sweetness level that you'd like. And same with salt and pepper. You know, it's always balancing it as you like it. I know my parents eat very little salt, and and I drink it usually.
That's the nice thing about chili, though. It's an easy thing to play with because you could always taste it, add more,
Yeah.
taste it.
And I think
What
that's-
else could you put in there? I mean, chocolate. We're doing chocolate
Yeah.
chips. That's great. What about it's Halloween? Could you put a candy bar in there?
No.
Could you
You
put a
could
Kit Kat
try
in
it.
there?
Yeah,
Maybe
I don't know. Maybe.
a Snicker. I don't know.
Wouldn't that be good?
No,
We
I
should
think
No,
that's
I don't
bad.
know.
This
It'd
is
freak
a terrible
people
idea.
out.
Yeah,
That would
it
be,
really
that'd
would.
be cool.
All right, are we going to
So
dish
yeah,
this
let's try
up,
some.
Eli?
Now the fun part about chili, of course, is that it's a meal. It's not just an appetizer,
Yeah.
right? And so you load it up. I've tried to cool this off a bit so you guys can eat it. But you see how nice and thick and deep it is. It has a chocolatey smell to
Yep.
it. And then I've got your accoutrements, of course, sour cream, some smoked cheddar cheese, some green onions.
Ooh, smoked cheddar cheese. That's a good
You know, in
twist.
Wisconsin, they eat it over noodles. I
Yeah.
think they're crazy.
I know.
Really?
I think,
Yeah.
isn't that Cincinnati chili?
I don't know.
I don't know, but I don't
It's
believe
crazy
in that.
chili.
So, Liz, I'm sure you've made chili much more often than I have.
1,000 times.
Okay. Does this strike you as an easy chili recipe?
Yeah, this is a fabulous chili
Yeah?
recipe.
It is, yeah.
But I will tell you, I have done the chocolate thing, and I've done the beer, but never the guajillo peppers, and now that's a new thing.
You know, the peppers, like I said, are a little bit more of back to the origins of chili con carne. And of course, as you know, with
Whoa.
chili, that soup is going
That's
to be even
good.
better tomorrow.
I
right? It's got
love
to sit
this.
and meld and kind of.
Okay, this
you know.
is really delicious.
good, good.
All right, so Eli, you came in,
Yum.
you showed us a new twist on chili. Can I show you guys, everybody at home, would you like to see something new, a little fun tool whenever you're searching for the right cut of beef you were talking about?
Yeah, we were talking about that earlier.
All right, I've shown you this before. I'll show you it again. BeefIt'sWhat'sForDinner.com. Check this out. This is the interactive butcher counter. Are you seeing that? For people like me, this is just so simple. Guide me to the right cut. Okay, I'm going to press that. All right, I'm looking for what do we want to do here? Let's do an economical. I like saving money.
Yeah, that's good.
An economical cut that I can. What do you want to do?
Let's do stew, because
Fine.
that's kind of like our chili.
Let's stew it here, and then I'm going to click go. Boom. Right there. So if you're in the store and you're like, geez,
Oh,
you can
look,
pull that
Eli,
up on your
that's just
phone.
what you
got
said, the
chopped, you got
round roast.
cubed.
Yeah.
There you go. So you can play around with that. We will have that linked up on our website. Isn't that cool?
That's
I'm going
really
to go
cool.
for bite number 3,
Oh
because
my
that's how
gosh.
delicious
That
this
is just so good. For this recipe, you can head to TwinCitiesLive.com and click on food, or you can download our TCL recipe app right there. It's free on your smartphone. And while you're there, you'll also find the link to the Minnesota Beef Council website with some more tips and tricks for cooking with beef. A big thanks to the Minnesota Beef Council for sponsoring our show. Eli, you knocked it out of the
Oh,
park.
Well,
knocked it out of
thank
the
you.
park. I mean,
Thank
that
you.
is some of the best chili I've ever had.
Oh,
You need to
good.
make this immediately.
Take it home.
All right, let's take a look at the weather. You saw a little